What's up, YouTube? It's your man Big Nord back at it again. I'm about to take a look at this brief clip. It's talking about Mansa Musa, who is on record to being the wealthiest man to ever live. And I heard about Mansa Musa in various documentaries, which intrigued me. Him being a African man, and him being one of the first people to exercise philanthropic, endeavors. The first person to really make his name off of giving, and also having the most wealth, having the ability to give back. So let's go ahead and check out this clip.
If someone asked you who the richest people in history were, who would you name? Perhaps a billionaire banker or corporate mogul like Bill Gates or John D. Rockefeller. How about African King Musa Kita I? Ruling the Mali Empire in the 14th century CE, Mansa Musa, or the King of Kings, amassed a fortune that possibly made him one of the wealthiest people who ever lived. But his vast wealth was only one piece of his rich legacy. When Mansa Musa came to power in 1312, much of Europe was racked by famine and civil wars. But many African kingdoms and the Islamic world were flourishing, and Mansa Musa played a great...
But that's the thing, see how they do that? They just incorporate Islam with African rule, which is not the case in most instances, because they're a form of spirituality that was practiced in many parts of Africa. You just can't equate Islam. Every rich African isn't a Muslim.
Role in bringing the fruits of this flourishing to his own realm. By strategically annexing the city of Timbuktu and re-establishing power over the city of Gal, he gained control over important trade routes between the Mediterranean and the West African coast, continuing a period of expansion which dramatically increased Mali's size. The territory of the Mali Empire was rich in natural resources, such as gold and salt. The world first witnessed the extent of Mansa Musa's wealth in 1324, when he took his pilgrimage to Mecca. Not one to travel on a budget, he brought a caravan stretching as far as the eye could see. Accounts of this journey are mostly based on an oral testimony and differing written records, so it's difficult to determine the exact details. But what most agree on is the extravagant scale of the excursion. Chroniclers describe an entourage of tens of thousands of soldiers, civilians, and slaves, 500 heralds, bearing gold staffs and dressed in fine silks, and many camels and horses bearing an abundance of gold bars. Stopping in cities such as Cairo, Mansa Musa is said to have spent massive quantities of gold, giving to the poor, buying souvenirs, and even having mosques built along the way. In fact, his spending may have destabilized the regional economy, causing mass inflation. This journey reportedly took over a year, and by the time...
And that's another thing they do, mosque built along the way. If he built a building, or if he built a sanctuary for the homeless or whatever it may be, they would just automatically label it, oh, this must have been a mosque that he built. Just saying that, oh, okay, he was Muslim, slick stuff like that.
When Mansa Musa returned, tales of his amazing wealth had spread to the ports of the Mediterranean. Mali and its king were elevated to near legendary status, cemented by their inclusion on the 1375 Catalan Atlas. One of the most important world maps of medieval Europe, it depicted the king holding a scepter and a gleaming gold nugget.
Not to say that he wasn't Muslim, but there isn't much evidence to just give him a religion. And when I notice that people go out of their way to give someone of historical nature, a religion, that throws up a red flag for me. I just have to challenge that and, just dive deeper into that accusation or into that statement, or is it true? Because people like to change history, as we know.
Mansa Musa had literally put his empire and himself on the map. But material riches weren't the king's only concern. As a devout Muslim, he took a particular interest in Timbuktu, already a center of religion and learning prior to its annexation. Upon returning from his pilgrimage, he had the great Djinguereber Mosque built there with the help of an Andalusian architect. He also established a major university, further elevating the city's reputation and attracting scholars and students from all over the Islamic world. Under Mansa Musa, the empire became urbanized, with schools and mosques in hundreds of densely populated towns. The king's rich legacy persisted for generations, and to this day, there are mausoleums, libraries, and mosques that stand as a testament to this golden age of Mali's history.
So there you have it. And the only reason why I would challenge that is because in the Muslim world, you hear about Muslim heroes, and Mansa Musa is hardly ever acknowledged. If he was truly a Muslim, then he would be in every Muslim's mouth, But that's not the case. And is it because he's African? Who knows? But people normally celebrate their star players or the people that have contributed to their religion, their well-being, and them as a person. That's why, you don't take any type of report, to the letter. You have to do your own research. You have to evaluate, and most importantly, you have to use common sense, when someone is telling you something. But hey, it is what it is. Mansa Musa is celebrated for being the richest human being to ever walk the earth. I'm proud that he is of African origin, and people need to see that and know what it is, and not praise it in one hand and diss it when it's convenient for you. All the slick talking folks, they're pro-Africa 1 second, and then when it's convenient for them, they turn and start calling names and all this bickering back and forth, which their slave master have programmed in their head to do. So I can't even blame them to see why they want to fight amongst themselves, and so vehemently, because that's all they know. They got taught the dozens by the slave master to ridicule and point fingers and say your mama so this, your mama so that. This is what slavery has taught our people in the hells of North America. But hey man, you just gotta be wise and quick-witted in this environment, man. But what are y'all thoughts about this historic legend? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe as well.